Ooh, 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 boo! Did it get you? No? Yeah, I didn't think it would work, but I tried anyway. Happy Halloween, you wonderful people. Spooky time is here, and I am ready for it. Well, almost ready for it. I probably need to change my appearance since it's a special time of the year. There. Oh, and I should probably change the theming here as well. Hold on. There. Nice and scary now. Now, I feel like some people are going to ask, hey Sprite, wouldn't this mean you made 2 Halloween specials in a row? Is that how long it takes you to make these kind of videos? Yes! Anyway, the concept of the past spirits coming back to haunt us in the now is an iconic theme of fiction. And with a trope that has as many stories as this, dating back to the centuries, there would obviously be some different takes on these types of storytelling. And sometimes spirits will come back and haunt us in the wonderful and mostly innocent world of video games. And creepypastas are no short of these kind of characters. Today we're going to be comparing 2 spirits who had a close connection to a guy who worked on the game with their souls trapped in said games to this very day. Needlemouse, the vengeful ghost of Sarah with a 30-year grudge. And Herobrine, the horror legend of Minecraft who spawned a 10-year mystery. For this spooky season bout, we'll be scaling Herobrine to Minecraft players and Needlemouse to Sonic from Sonic 1 through 3, as they are the Sonic games that we know she has the code to. We will not be scaling Needlemouse to modern Sonic or frankly any other Sonic game that isn't the first 3, nor Herobrine to any of the other Minecraft games like Minecraft Dungeons or Minecraft Legends. Okay, we got this cleared up. I'm your host Sprite, and for this episode, Sprite Voorhees. What else do you want from me? It's mine and many others' job to analyze these 2 characters' origin, stories, and feats to find out who would win a Sprite fight. The Fun Gang was just your standard set of college adults in the early 1960s. You know, hiding secret relationships, partying the night away at the pub, and getting in the brawls at said pubs that caused one of the members to die. Wait, what? Yeah, turns out the Fun Gang's history wasn't gonna be as wholesome as they hoped, as one of the group members, Sarah, died during the fight. They didn't know if it was one of them or just some other drunk college kid. But understandably not wanting to be blamed for murder, but not understandably deciding to toss her body into a river, they tried to move on with their lives. But the past would come back to haunt them eventually. 30 years later. The lake used to cover up Sarah's body had been built underneath a Sega Corporation building, which one of the old members, known as Luther, was working at. However, strange events were happening around his life. Old gang members of the Fun Gang were being murdered, and he was getting really weird messages from old copies of Sonic games. Every once in a while, a Sonic lookalike would come over and comment on how trapped it was. It was constantly talking about its old family and its life, and discussing how much it hated Luther. It almost was like it was talking to him, and to his horror, it was. Then, Lucas had to face the reality that he had to dig up that old memory that he buried 30 years ago. He'd also have to face the possibility that maybe, just maybe, Sarah was still alive. She would torment Luther and her ex-friends, saying that she will eventually get her revenge, and horrifically, she succeeded, capturing all of them, turning them into disfigured, grinning versions of the old Sonic cast. She relished in every moment of their torment. Finally, they could all suffer as one, behind the black screen, together, forever. This wasn't even Sarah anymore. This spirit was Needlemouse, and she finally got the one thing she desired: revenge. For years they had to endure Sarah's taunts and torture. I mean, it's not like they had a choice. Needlemouse's abilities made her practically unstoppable. She could fly, teleport, create fire, warp reality, and show memories. Despite their best efforts, Needlemouse kept her in her little amazing digital dungeon. But all hope wasn't completely lost, as the disc that Sarah and her former friends resided in was picked up by a duo of friends named Tom and Kyle on a YouTube channel known as Speed Duo 64, which is a good example of a really crap channel name that you give your YouTube account because it makes you stand out, but then years later you realize how dumb it is, but you can't go back and change it because everyone knows you for that name and you have no choice to keep it. Anyway, they started noticing the weird themes and styles of the game and characters, like glitches and characters looking terrified. Instead of doing what a normal person would do and, I don't know, not play a disc that has characters that look like they're in eternal pain or forced to watch Manos Hands of Fate more than once and burn it on a bonfire night. But it was too late. When Kyle decided to stop experimenting with the game, he went to pick it up, but he was killed horribly by Sarah, having his limbs torn off and forced to join the eternal torment of the Fun Gang. Speaking of the tearing limbs off, you need a lot of force to tear apart human limbs, around 25-ton forces, and that's not the only scaling for strength we have for Needlemouse. Since we're using the classic Sonic games 1 through 3, Sonic can move solid blocks, stones, and even steel gears, which have been estimated to weigh over 30 tons. And she has the durability to match. At the end of Sonic 2, Sonic survives this enormous explosion. With the estimated blast and the distance he was from it, he would be taking a force equivalent to 40 tons of TNT. And that's like being hit with 4 mother-of-all bombs, and Sonic treated it like it was no biggie. Little wonder she was able to tank a hit with Luther when he was using an axe made of a Chaos Emerald, although we don't really know where that scales, as the classic Chaos Emeralds don't have very good scaling or statements, but they should at least be comparable to a base form classic Sonic. And due to being a Sonic clone, Needlemouse possesses impressive speed. Sonic from the classic games can dodge arrows and even beams of light, which would put his speed at around Mach 874,000. And Sonic can even theoretically run at the same speed as these light lasers. And there have been multiple moments in which she can warp reality by attacking people, so this should make her universal, right? Well, not really. They're just glitches, and they are more than likely just her abilities or hacks, and we don't really have a way to scale them anyway. Hell, characters who can't manipulate the universe with their attacks could still physically harm and even block Sarah's attacks, so I'm not really using this feat as its analog horror, which is notoriously known for being hard to tell what's going on. Back to the story. Surprisingly, when Kyle was forced into Sarah's world, he didn't give up, and he challenged Sarah, but of course, despite holding his own for a while, his efforts weren't enough to stop her. Now her final target was Tom himself. She almost killed him, before Luther stepped in to try and stop Sarah, and during their fight, he showed some of her weaknesses. Unsurprisingly, being stuck in an endless void for 30 years usually doesn't create a very healthy mindset, so her mental state is an easily exposable weakness. And she has been shown to be physically harmed despite her power. And that's a bit of a problem when your enemies decide to hit you with a Chaos Emerald infused axe. Lucas was finally able to restrain Sarah and get to talk to her, but her mental state was still deteriorating. She lashed out in anger. She'd spent 30 years in an endless black void, not knowing where she was or even who she was. The endless strain on her was almost too much for her to handle. The only way she would feel any sort of pleasure or mild happiness was to make others feel the exact way she felt for those 3 decades. It turns out this poor girl, at her most vulnerable point, was manipulated and drove to further madness by a spirit possessing her. This acted as almost an extra influence to a justification for what she was doing. Eventually, Sarah was able to break free of the spirit's grasp, but it still said how the power was hers for the taking, how it was always hers for the taking. But for once in decades, Sarah finally was able to stop the madness. Her girlfriend had seemingly passed on herself, so Sarah finally learned to let go of the hate, the grudge, and the prolonged pain. After everything everyone had been through, they could all finally rest. Everyone could be at peace, not behind a black screen, but resting easy together forever. And the final moment of our viewing of Needlemouse had her for once, in the decade she had been trapped, gleaming a genuine smile. Although she may be gone, Needlemouse's existence was a truly horrific and tragic story. a tale of a girl who had been dealt the wrong hand in life and death. Maybe the true villain wasn't Sarah, her friends, or even the spirit possessing her, but the human being's ability to hold such a grudge of the past, to not let it go and live in the now. But even with all those factors, she was truly a powerful threat, and all should tremble before the very mention of the name Needlemouse.
But I finally got my revenge. You are all mine now, whether you like it or not. I am your god now.
The world of Minecraft is a usually calm and cheery place, subtracting of course the constant need to fight off zombies, creepers and skellies. It's still considered one of the most calming games to date, but of course the internet can't leave anything wholesome be, so it was Minecraft's turn to be on the chopping block for getting screwed up. But instead of most creepypastas with lost episodes and hyper-realistic gore, this one would leave an actually pretty lasting impact on the Minecraft community and the internet as a whole. Way back when, in August of 2010, an anonymous user was playing on Minecraft, except it was on one of those old map books in which you couldn't see any further than 3 chunks ahead of you, and it could run on as many frames per second as my animations do. At some point, he thought he saw what looked to be like a cow, but when he got closer, it seemed to be another player. But there was one distinct feature about him. His eyes were completely white. He was just standing there in the fog, looking at him. When he tried to get a closer look, the figure ran back into the fog. Even during his pursuit, he lost the figure. He tried to brush it off as just some sort of strange graphical error on his part. But other strange occurrences happened in his world. There were multiple pyramids being built all around, 2x2 tunnels were being digged, lit by redstone torches, and entire forests were found without leaves on the trees. He tried to connect to the Minecraft forum, explaining this weird experience that he had, but the post was deleted within 5 minutes. He wasn't sure why, so he made another one. It was deleted even faster. Then, an account messaged him. It was a default one, not much details. All it said was a single word: stop. He looked at the username, and it said, Herobrine. He posted the 4chan, in which it wasn't deleted, and that single post immediately shaped the entire Minecraft community for years to come, and created one of the most famous internet horror characters of all time. In the story, it was revealed that this strange name belonged to Notch's sadly passed away brother. He said, "He's no longer with us." Could it be that this strange figure that he met in his Minecraft world be connected? More than likely, considering how he also wasn't the only one to report a Herobrine incident. Even after years, people are still reporting incidents of them seeing this weird figure. There has been a decade-long debate on whether or not this character is real or not, but we're not here for stuff like that. We're here for feats, and Herobrine has some pretty impressive scaling. He can lift large blocks of sandstone, cut the leaves off of trees, and even destroy solid blocks of stone at 0.016 tons of TNT, and he should even be capable of destroying blocks of diamond considering the scaling that we're using, which will require 0.17 tons of TNT. Herobrine's mystery obviously didn't just surround sightings of a strange figure in your peripheral vision. There had been shrines dedicated to summoning him into the world, but of course they never worked. Many people did swear it did work in their world, which led to multiple disappointed kids. I was lucky enough not to be one of those kids, so I didn't suffer from fake heaven portal-initis. Herobrine, despite the constant stream of content farms that made him seem like a fool, was still feared throughout the community. He became so popular, even Notch and some of the Minecraft devs started taking notice, putting him in official pieces of Minecraft art, and noting about him in official pieces of Minecraft media, and even mentioning him on tweets. And throughout his odd existence, Herobrine has displayed a few abilities, which are weird to understand, but from what we do know, we can include data manipulation and deletion, minor immortality, possession of mobs, and most notably, resistance to data manipulation, as people have attempted to remove him from the game, yet sightings still come in. And since we're using Minecraft scaling, this would mean that Herobrine would scale to some of the higher tier feats of the verse. This would include Steve being able to harm the Ender Dragon, who could destroy multiple solid iron blocks. With the diameter and size of the Ender Dragon, calculating the amount of iron blocks that she would be destroying, and the kinetic energy required to destroy 1 cubic centimeter of iron to a vaporization level, this would be a force of around 2.6 megatons of TNT. That's over twice as much as the B-83, the most powerful current nuke in America's arsenal. Steve and Alex can even kill the Ender Dragon, and be able to lift up solid blocks of netherite, which should be weighing around 160 tons. Incredible strength like this is only matched with surprisingly high reflexes. Both Steve and Alex can tag Endermen, who could dodge arrows at the smallest possible distance. With the distance in mind and the speed of an arrow, they'd be moving at least 100,000 meters per second. That is massively hypersonic plus. And Steve can increase the speed with swiftness, which can increase the speed by 20%. Speaking of which, the potions in Minecraft are extremely useful. Strength can increase your attack power, healing does exactly what it says on the bottle, harming and poison can harm enemies, etc, etc. However, Herobrine doesn't usually use this kind of stuff, so he mostly uses his diamond sword. Although I cannot emphasize how much this sword would not work in real life, you gotta admit it looks badass. The sword can kill the undead, harm some of the strongest monsters in the game, and slay vexes and allies, which are confirmed to be spirits. As for intelligence, Herobrine is pretty clever. He can lurk his prey and slowly lower their confidence, making his presence more well known, which has some minor manipulation skills, and he should possess some of the knowledge of other Minecraft players, who can build complex structures using things like redstone. Herobrine's abilities, stats, and intelligence are all around impressive, but I feel like we need to remember Herobrine's greatest weapon isn't his sword, or his abilities, or his monster school. It's his influence, his ever-looming shadow that someone else is in your world, scaring away anyone who hears a step that isn't their own. And, well, of course, having someone else in your world that's watching your every move is, well, a turn off the game and search through 20 plus videos of Herobrine lore kind of terrifying. But if I'm being entirely honest, I think Herobrine's existence helped the game more than hindered it. The concept of him made the game a much more talked about topic, making it way more popular and make us appreciate what a fantastic game Minecraft is once he was proven to be fake. So to be honest, thank you Herobrine for helping the community flourish more and more. But on the off chance he is real, if you see structures in your world that you didn't build yourself, leaves cut off the trees randomly, or a man with white eyes staring at you from a distance, you better hope you have a backup for that world, because I don't think that one's worth playing anymore if he's in there with you. Alright, the results are in and the combatants are set. It's time for the Sprite Fight Halloween special.
You're the famous Needlemouse. I'm not interested in your offers.
The legend Herobrine. It is quite a pleasure.
This land is my territory. Leave now or I'll have to resort to extreme measures.
Whoa, at least listen to what I've got to say first. I'm branching out into new territory, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Surrender to me now, or die.
With one more chance, Needlemouse. Or should I say, Sarah?
Don't call me that.
Wrong choice.
This is the power of the man people feared for over a decade. What a joke.
You dare come into my realm and claim it as your own.
What?
Only God can help you now.
I won't be needing him, because
God. Enough! I think I've had just about enough of your childish tricks. What? How is it possible? I'm still a god. Oh god, is it just because you're a god you're a match for me? I never said God could help you. I never said he could save you. You can never escape your past. Everyone look at you. You were once so proud. Everyone was terrified of you. But then, everyone started to make fun of you, including your own brother. You have nothing left. You are a joke. And you have lost everything that made you relevant. You may as well just die! Oh, Sarah. You're really one to talk about being forgotten. You were tossed into a river by your own friends so they didn't have to deal with the consequences of what they did to you. And you have the audacity to say I lost everything. You always held on to the past. While you became a rat, I became a true god. No. I will cast the back race of the game. Your code will be filled with nothing but your screams. You will feel eternal damnation. You're eternally tragic, and I pity you. But what's left of your world shall suffer. I grant you a quick death. You know, I think I rather enjoyed that. You must have enjoyed it too, didn't you?
This fight was weird to say the least. Both were capable of warping reality and manipulating the rules that the game usually makes them abide to. And both aren't particularly used to fighting people on their level of being able to warp reality. So in a foreign fight like this, it ultimately came down to how their hacks and powers bounced off each other. As already established, cosmic scaling for the two doesn't really work. But you can make arguments, although they are quite shaky. So, with those crossed off, we need to look at the feats I personally consider reliable. Herobrine was stronger and more durable, being able to lift at least 160 tons, and being able to scale to 2.6 megatons of TNT, way outdid Needlemouse being able to push 30 tons, and scaling to 40 tons of TNT. So that meant he was strong enough and had the AP to physically harm Needlemouse, and he had the durability to tank anything Needlemouse could throw at him physical wise. However, Herobrine was not as fast. Needlemouse being able to keep pace with and dodge lasers easily outdid anything Herobrine could do with his massively hypersonic plus reaction speeds. So this meant that Herobrine was thousands of times stronger, but Needlemouse was thousands of times faster. We have one character who can completely demolish one in a physical fight, and another one who can dodge every attack the other throws at them. So for this unique fight, we have to look at their abilities and hacks and see how they bounce off each other. Despite her insane power, Sarah had very little evidence of being able to destroy souls or resist soul destruction herself. Meanwhile, Herobrine is actually shown being able to resist deletion even from people outside his game. Herobrine would actually have two ways to kill Needlemouse and end the fight. He could either delete her, or at very least her powers, like he did to the Minecraft forum post that tried to expose his existence, leaving Needlemouse practically helpless. Or he could just kill her normally, like any other person would kill a normal human being. After all, Minecraft characters have shown the capability to destroy vexes and allies, which are ghosts and spirits. So this meant that he could kill the ghost of Sarah, or even kill the demon possessing her, leaving her completely powerless. Even if you do want to argue a universal Needlemouse and ignore a universal Herobrine, and say that she can leave the game and potentially just try and manipulate the outside world to make Herobrine gone, considering how Herobrine has shown resistances to being deleted via the outside world, his ability to respawn, and ability to delete data, and Needlemouse's lack of evidence of being able to resist such, he could still beat Needlemouse even with that humongous strength and durability advantage on her side. Herobrine would obviously have trouble trying to hit someone thousands of times faster than him and use these soul-destroying capabilities. However, considering Needlemouse's broken mental state, lack of strategy, as well as her gloating and desire to get up close and let people she sees as weaker than her fight back, Herobrine would eventually, although it would take a while, find his opening and finish the job. And considering Herobrine's greater mental state and likely higher intelligence, this potentially meant that he could find a way to exploit Needlemouse's mental instability and make it even easier for him to find an opening. Needlemouse was an utterly terrifying opponent, and she would have easily taken a victory if she had the ability to kill Herobrine permanently. But the legend of Minecraft's greater strength, durability, intelligence, mental state, and soul-destroying capabilities granted him this win. Ironically, in this battle, Needlemouse just couldn't get ahead. Sorry, maybe you can think of a better joke than mine, because I can't craft any good puns. Well, yes, I was desperate for end-of-episode jokes, thanks for asking. The winner is Herobrine.